guys? We're going to try and do some training before class. So, we're going to look at Tai Chi today. Tai Chi, silk reeling, Chen Tai Chi specifically, although this does apply to pretty much all Tai Chi. Day one, usually, we think of training silk reeling, especially if we're coming through the Chen lineage. That's usually how it's packaged. And what is silk reeling? In this broadest possible sense, we're looking at trying to take our hand and move it in a circle in front of us, forwards and backwards in front of our body. We're using shifting our weight across our feet and turning our hips in order to generate this kind of motion. So let's say we already know what this is doing, and let's say we've been through this before. Hopefully that sounds familiar. So in order to take our training up to the next level, if we already know this is what it's supposed to look like in general, something like this, then what should we be looking at in order to make this look more like we know what we're doing? Two things to think of. First, when we do our motion should not be starting from this point up here, up by our sternum, in between of our shoulders. Because then, if that's the case, then it ends up with this sort of windmill-y type of action. We don't want to be looking like windmills out here, or otherwise some Don Quixote is going to take our heads off. Instead, we want our motion to be generated from down here in the core, in between and on top of the whole pelvis and hip complex. So that means as we shift our weight, we should be shifting from here and not here. We shouldn't be doing some kind of fish motion, and we shouldn't be leaving our body behind either. Think of the whole body turning, shifting, basically as one unit, more or less. The other thing is when we turn, we shouldn't be turning our shoulders too much with leaving our hips behind. We should be turning from the hips itself in order to get that kind of motion. So that's the first thing to look at. Where's the motion starting from? Up here or down here? Obviously down here should be the correct one. Second thing to look at, what exactly does it mean to turn? When our feet are planted and solid and we're nice and rooted, we're in a nice good Tai Chi posture, boom, here we go. We often think of turning from one extreme to the other extreme, and then back to the other extreme. Not so far that our legs are contorted and screwing up, but far enough that, you feel it, you can't go any further. Let's break that down a bit more. Instead of just going from left to right and then back to left when we turn, think of going from left to center, from center to right, from right back to center, and from center back to left in order to complete the whole picture. So, what does this look like in practice? Out here with our starting position or something like that. When we turn, right now, I'm steady, right, straight forward, hips are relaxed, chin tucked, typical Tai Chi posture, that kind of thing. To begin my turn, I want to go from zero, center, over to my right. That opens the rotation. As I turn, coil, there's the rotation. And now I've turned enough, shift. Just enough. Now from here, I'm at the right, turn, back to neutral, back to center. At the center line, my wrist is on my center line, my hips are again returned to neutral. Complete this before I begin to turn to the left. Turn to the left, begin the next part of the loop, shift because I've run out of space, and now turn back to neutral. And now I've completed that circle. So turn right, turn to center, and now turn to the left, shift, and turn to center. So it's not just as simple as turn one direction and turn the other direction and turn the other direction. We want to start thinking in subtleties if we want to get our training to go to the next level. So work on that and see where it takes.